Let's get to Pippa Stevens for more on this dramatic move this morning. Pippa.
Hey, David. So I think it's really important here that we focus on the full post from Iran's foreign minister, because he said that while the strait is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire, he also mentioned a coordinated route as announced by the regime, which doesn't sound like it is fully open. And CNBC's Private Wealth Rebecca Babin noted that this market has been trading the headlines, the speed of the headlines, and not the certainty of flows, and that this move feels optimistic, especially as the market reprices the idea of reopening faster than it actually can reopen and the flows will resume. And President Trump also said on Truth Social just now that the blockade will continue, which again does not suggest a normalization of flows. Now, both WTI and Brent are below $90 and less than $20 above where they were prior to the war breaking out. We're also seeing big drops in product prices with gasoline and diesel futures tanking. European diesel is now at its lowest level in more than a month. And I did speak to Maersk this morning, and it was before the post from the Iranian foreign minister. So timing is important. But still, they said that there is no change in their approach and that they are not transiting the strait. So again, guys, clearly a big response in the market here, but we have not seen a resumption of flows. And it doesn't feel like flows will normalize anytime soon at this point.
So what are you reading and hearing, Pippa? Because, I mean, the ceasefire was agreed to, right, by Israel, Lebanon, and President Trump, imposed by President Trump. But Hezbollah wasn't involved in this. So I do wonder just how fragile this is potentially.
I think fragile is the key word there, Sarah. And also, if you are a ship owner, you probably don't want to be the first one to send your crew through and to test the water, so to speak. And so there is probably not going to be a big surge to send your ships through, especially since it is a temporary ceasefire and there are still so many questions open right now in terms of what's going to happen. Should the ceasefire expire or should it be extended? And so, again, if you're a ship owner, you're not really going to want to risk your crew. And we still have seen flows more than 90% below their pre-war levels. And the other thing is that even if the war were to end today, in order to get all the tankers back in position, that will take a while. You look at the number of VLCCs heading to the U.S. right now, it's at 70. That's up from an average of about 27 last year, according to data from Kepler. And so, once again, to have all those tankers U-turn and go back to the strait will take some time. And so even once traffic has resumed, it will take a while for things to be normalized. And then the final point I'll make here is that if you are a producer and you've closed in some of your operations, given how expensive and how much time it takes to restart things like a refinery, you are not going to do that unless you have certainty that you can operate at full capacity. And so while the market is clearly taking this as indication that we could see a resumption of flows, there's going to be a while before things really normalize.
Not to mention as well, the blockade continues, the president making that clear. So Iranian oil will not be reaching the market. Is that fair to say, which obviously is different than it had been, because that had been the one thing that had been going through?
Exactly, and that's about 1.5 to 1.7 million barrels per day of exports. And there are some conflicting reports about the extent to which vessels are currently loading at Iranian ports. But, of course, a lot of questions here about the extent to which Iran needs that revenue from their oil exports, and so how long they can sustain that oil not reaching the market. But, guys, also, look at elsewhere. Look at other choke points, whether you talk about Bab el-Mandab Strait or Malacca Strait over in Singapore, where China is building up their presence in the Scarborough Shoal. There are a lot of choke points here on global markets, and now people are saying that those are going to be repriced going forward, and that when flows do resume through Hormuz, there's going to be a new sense that these choke points around the world for key commodities and for shipping will be repriced, and there'll be more of a little bit of a risk premium priced in, given that we've seen Iran can effectively close down the Strait of Hormuz.
All right. Pippa, thank you.